This is all everyone's getting well behaved. Remember this one? That was really fucked up. How many people go to flea markets here, right? Like you go to flea markets because it's not the Museum of Modern Art, right? It's not like, look at this fabulous thing. No, it's like, it's all screwed up. That's all screwed up. And that's my eBay. I don't know what this is.
And I don't either. Burberry, Gap, Yves Saint Laurent, Facebook, and most recently Petco. In these past years, we've seen major companies partake in cautious rebranding initiatives to better fit the current visual landscape and trends. While serving a technical purpose, allowing some of these brands to transcend their main product and expand their cultural leverage to a broader idea, even when operating in unrelated markets, there's one thing these new brand identity systems all have in common. They're boring. If you've been in the field for a minute, then you must have experienced working in close proximity to a marketing expert. To the average designer only a few years ago, this was undoubtedly annoying, but part of the job description. A good studio or company knows how to balance those two roles. There's a time for market research, and there's a time for free creative process. And I know I'm a designer, but despite being clearly biased, even in this brief and rough description, you'd be hard-pressed to claim I don't value numbers and research. I mean, just look at my other content. No, seriously, look at it. Anyways, in recent years, with the advent of big data analysis, AI, and all those pretty technologies that made our social media the lovely place it is right now, things started tipping. What was once an equal partner to a dynamic duo started taking over. Market research, data analysis, focus groups, and discovery sessions started flooding into the design world. Suddenly, designers were being asked to work on PowerPoint decks for the marketing department more than they were being asked to implement the fixes client asked for during the last round of revisions. Emails started piling high in their inboxes, and new jargon emerged from this bubbling cauldron. KPIs, CRMs, ROIs, SEOs, CPMs, and many more fancy-sounding anagrams. Concepts these people said way too many times a day to always commit to verbalizing the full phrase.
New flagship branding from the marketing department. KPIs are up. I'm taking PTO until EOM, and the C-suite says content is king, but we're leveraging Q4 into some win-win synergy until our low-hanging fruit gets its ducks in a row. Thanks in advance. Let's do lunch. Best IS.
What happened next was only the logical extension of this new wave. Why let the socially awkward industry newborn from FITM pick the color of our new product, when we can just run the numbers and see what's the favorite hue of our target audience? Why let any of this unreliable, unpredictable, vague-sounding creative professionals make crucial choices when we can just ask our target audience? So the computers churn the numbers, the marketing consultants count their stacks, and by the end, the results were in. The secret for selling to most was to truly appeal to no one. The secret, in other words, was to be so plain, so neutral, and so ordinary, no one can be offended or excluded. It was to seamlessly blend with the rest of the environment, to be ubiquitous yet invisible, to constantly remind people of your presence without them realizing you were ever there. And what better way to do it than with a sans serif typeface, white tracking, and a color palette that never dares to push past the tame, conservative, corporate blue. However, if we dig deeper, the true issue is actually more complex and nuanced. The bigger you get, the more risk-averse you become. To most of these companies, bold, committed brand identities and creative outputs are only liabilities. Even if it's only a small part of the audience that doesn't like what they made, why take the risk when they can simply avoid offending anyone at all? This trend is simply the result of the current cultural landscape. But it's not just the brands and marketing firms at fault. Our society plays a big role in these decisions, not only because of its deep, naive fascination and faith in the newest tech, which pushes all of us to take it up on its many promises, but with the way it deals with the corporate world and its choices or mistakes. Ever since brands became culture, they entered the playing field with an unforgiving set of rules. When backlash for seemingly meaningless choices can pulverize your sales predictions, every ounce of certainty is worth its weight in gold. This copy might be provocative and edgy, but do we really want to risk our quarter on this one tweet? There's much more to say about this, but that's a topic for another video. So was Brian Collin just complaining about the current unwillingness of brands to let us designers play in the sand with their ad budget? Or is there something more to this? I think the truly damaging aspect of this current iteration of corporate identity and product making isn't really at the expense of us designers or the culture at large. I think, unfortunately, the issue is much broader. If we keep looking to the market for cues on what to make and how to make it, we will never get past the average version of what's already out there. When there is no space left for the past and the future worlds of creativity, we only have the present to inform us. And the present, however cool it may be, is never cool enough. Nor should it ever be. So it never lasts. And that's what I think will happen to some of these brands once this trend becomes ubiquitous. They won't last. They'll get left behind because someone else dared to make that bold, weird, unorthodox choice they were too scared to even consider. Someone dared to make a spherical lip balm. Someone dared to strip away the fancy facade of skincare and only sell the active ingredients. Someone dared to build a system that encourages open dialogue and exchange instead of disincentivizing it. When writing for Fast Company about hardware design for smartphone and tablets, Dan Nosowitz argued, "Make it thin, use a single block of aluminum, use glass. Presto, now you have design." Bullshit. Innovative design isn't just about adhering to rules set out by someone else. Let's stop. We desperately need some screwed up shit. Thank you. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. As you can probably tell, it took a long time to make, and I'm really glad that now it's out. Unfortunately, it takes a long time to get this type of content out because of the animation and the voiceover and everything. And being a freelancer, I don't have an awful lot of time to dedicate to this channel, but hopefully in the future things will get smoother. Now that I have all the assets and everything, it's going to be easier for me to get videos out. So hopefully I'll see you guys very soon with this type of content, and thanks again.